Ever wondered what awaits us at the gates of the afterlife? Across the globe, ancient cultures imagined not gentle guides, but terrifying sentinels, monstrous guardians ensuring the dead never return. Today we confront these nightmares. From the silent ferryman on a black river to the three-headed hound of hell, these are the 5 most feared underworld guardians ever conceived. Prepare to meet the gatekeepers. 5th, Charon, the grim ferryman of the Styx. Our descent begins at the edge of a vast, silent, and murky river shrouded in perpetual fog. This is the Styx, the desolate boundary between the living and the dead in Greek mythology. Patrolling these black waters is our first guardian, Charon, the ferryman of the dead. He is not a roaring monster, but his silent, unyielding presence is profoundly terrifying. Charon is often depicted as a gaunt, weathered old man, his skin stretched tight over his skeletal frame. Dressed in dark, tattered robes, his most striking feature is his eyes, which are said to burn like fiery embers in the gloom of the underworld. He is an ancient, primordial entity, bound to a single, monotonous task for all eternity, poling his decrepit skiff across the river. His silence is absolute. He offers no words of comfort, no sympathy, no judgment. His muteness is the chilling, indifferent silence of the grave itself, a cold finality that greets every soul. His rule is simple and unbreakable. To gain passage, a soul must pay a fare, a single obolus, a small coin, placed on the tongue or over the eyes of the deceased by their relatives. This was a critical part of ancient Greek burial rites. The coin was not a simple payment, but a symbolic acknowledgement of the final transaction between life and death. For those unfortunate souls who were buried without this tribute, or whose bodies were never found, a horrifying fate awaited. They were doomed to wander the bleak, misty shores of the Styx as bodiless shades for 100 years, forever trapped between worlds, able to see the realm of the dead, but never enter it. Charon's resolve is absolute, and he makes exceptions for no one. However, a few living heroes managed to force their way past him. The demigod Heracles, on his quest to capture Cerberus, used his divine strength to intimidate the ferryman and secure passage. For this transgression, for breaking his sacred duty, Charon was punished by Hades and imprisoned in chains for a full year. The hero Aeneas, guided by the Sibyl, presented Charon with a magical golden bough to be granted passage. And Psyche, during her own trials, appeased Charon with a coin, holding another in her mouth for the return journey, showcasing a rare instance of a round trip. These tales are the rare exceptions that prove the rule. Charon is not a monster of aggression, but of unbendable, bureaucratic dread. He is the first entity a soul meets, the embodiment of the cold, impartial reality that your life has ended, and all you were is now reduced to the price of a single coin. 4. Garmr, the blood-stained hound of Helheim. We now travel north to the frozen, lightless realm of Norse mythology, to Helheim, the underworld reserved for those who did not die a glorious death in battle. Guarding the entrance to this desolate domain at the mouth of a cave named Gnipaheller is a creature of pure, unrestrained ferocity, Garmr, the hound of hell. Garmr is a colossal, monstrous canine, far larger and more terrifying than any wolf. His most horrifying feature is his chest and jowls, which are perpetually soaked in the deep crimson fluid of those he has slain. Norse texts are chillingly terse in their descriptions, but they paint a picture of primal terror. He is often described with 4 eyes, missing nothing, and possessing a howl so powerful and dreadful it can be heard in the realm of the living, serving as a dire omen of impending death. His teeth are like sharpened shards of black ice, and his strength is legendary. He is bound by a mighty chain, a fact that offers little comfort, for it is foretold that one day this chain will break. He is the loyal warden of the goddess Hel, the enigmatic, half-living, half-dead ruler of this underworld. Garm's purpose is twofold: to savagely attack any living person who dares venture into the realm of the dead, and to ensure that the souls imprisoned within Helheim can never escape. Unlike Charon, Garm cannot be bribed or reasoned with. He is a force of pure, violent finality. Some scholars have theorized a connection between Garm and the great monstrous wolf Fenrir, who is destined to kill Odin. Some even suggest they could be one and the same, adding another layer of cosmic terror to Garm's existence. This terror culminates in the prophecy of Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods. When the end of the world begins, one of the first signs will be the shattering of Garm's chain. He will break free, and his apocalyptic howls will shake the foundations of the 9 realms. The sagas foretell that in the final battle, Garm will face the one-handed god of law and glory, Tyr, who once sacrificed his hand to bind Fenrir, will face this other great hound in a battle to the death. They will be each other's doom, a mutual destruction that signals the collapse of the old world. Garm is more than a guard dog. He is a ticking time bomb, a living harbinger of cosmic annihilation. The ever-present red stain on his chest is a constant reminder of the blood of gods and mortals he is destined to spill at the end of all things.
3. Ammit, the devourer of the damned. Our path now leads us to the sun-bleached deserts of ancient Egypt and into the Hall of Two Truths, the solemn location of the final judgment. Here, beside a set of golden scales, waits a creature born from the deepest fears of the Egyptian people, a demonic entity whose purpose is the ultimate punishment, Ammit, the devourer of the damned. Ammit is a grotesque and terrifying chimera, a nightmarish fusion of the 3 animals most feared by the ancient Egyptians. She possesses the head and powerful jaws of a crocodile, the muscular forequarters and chest of a lion, and the massive, crushing hindquarters of a hippopotamus. This was a deliberate combination of apex predators, creating a single being that embodied complete and utter annihilation. Ammit was not a goddess to be worshipped. She was a demonic force, the physical manifestation of what happened to the wicked. Her role occurs during the weighing of the heart ceremony, a pivotal moment in a soul's journey detailed in the Book of the Dead. After death, the soul would be guided by the jackal-headed god Anubis before a tribunal of 42 divine judges. The deceased's heart, believed to be the seat of their soul and conscience, was placed on one side of a scale. On the other side was the feather of Ma'at, the goddess of truth, justice, and cosmic order. The soul would then have to recite the negative confessions, declaring their innocence of a long list of sins. If the soul had lived a virtuous life, their heart would be light and balanced perfectly with the feather. They would be declared true of voice and granted passage to the eternal paradise known as the Field of Reeds. However, if the heart was heavy with the weight of sin, the scales would tip. At that moment, Ammit, who sat waiting patiently and hungrily beside the scales, would act. The condemned heart was thrown to her, and she would devour it in a single gruesome bite. For the ancient Egyptians, this was a fate far worse than any fiery hell. It was the second death. To have your heart eaten by Ammit meant your existence was over. Your essence, your soul, your being was completely and irrevocably erased from the cosmos. It was utter oblivion. Ammit's terror, therefore, is not of a battle, but of the final, irreversible consequence of a life lived without truth. She is the embodiment of non-existence, the ultimate horror for a culture so deeply focused on achieving eternal life.
2. The Oni, demonic wardens of Jigoku. We now travel east to the complex and terrifying Buddhist underworld of Japan, known as Jigoku. This is not a single place, but a horrifying bureaucracy of suffering, comprised of 16 distinct hot and cold hells, each tailored to punish specific sins. Serving as the wardens, guards, and relentless torturers of these realms are the demonic brutes known as the Oni. Oni are a race of powerful demons, typically depicted as gigantic, muscle-bound ogres with savage, monstrous features. Their skin is most often a vibrant red, blue, or sometimes black or green, and they have one or more horns sprouting from their heads, along with a wide mouth full of sharp fangs. Clad in a simple tiger pelt loincloth, their weapon of choice is the fearsome kanabo, a massive iron-studded club that they use to mete out brutal punishment. They are the terrifying foot soldiers of great King Enma, the stern and unflinching judge of the dead. When a soul arrives in Jigoku, it is judged by King Enma. If found wanting, the Oni are summoned to drag the soul to its designated hell. What makes the Oni so uniquely terrifying among underworld guardians is that their job does not end at the gate. They are the active agents of torment. They are not mindless beasts. They are depicted as intelligent, cruel, and taking a sadistic pleasure in their work. Legends detail their horrific duties. They gleefully crush the bones of the damned, peel skin from the bodies of sinners, throw them into cauldrons of boiling liquid, and hunt them across mountains of razor-sharp blades. They are the living instruments of karma. Their influence extends beyond the underworld. In Japanese folklore, Oni can sometimes interact with the mortal world, where they are seen as harbingers of disaster and disease. They were said to swoop down from the sky to snatch the souls of the wicked on their deathbeds. This fear of the Oni is still present in Japanese culture, most notably in the Setsuben festival, where people throw soybeans out their doors and shout "Oni wa soto, fuku wa uchi," which means Oni out, good fortune in, to ritually cleanse the home of their evil influence. The Oni are the embodiment of brute force and hellish punishment, the demonic jailers who ensure that for the souls in Jigoku, the suffering is eternal, and there is absolutely no escape. Number 1. Cerberus, the three-headed hound of Hades. Finally, we return to the shadowy depths of the Greek underworld, to the very gates of the house of Hades, to confront the most legendary and universally feared guardian of them all, Cerberus, the hound of hell. Cerberus is a creature of pure mythological terror, born from a lineage of monsters. His parents were Typhon, the most powerful and grotesque of all titans, and Echidna, a half-woman, half-serpent creature known as the mother of all monsters. His siblings include other legendary horrors like the Linnaean Hydra and the Chimera. Cerberus is most famously described as a colossal dog with 3 heads, each one representing a different aspect of the past, present, and future, or perhaps birth, youth, and old age. His growl was said to be the sound of grinding stones, and his roar was a deafening thunder that shook the souls of the dead. It didn't stop there. Venomous black saliva dripped from his jaws, and wherever it touched the ground, the deadly wolfsbane plant would sprout. In many depictions, his back is covered not with fur, but with a writhing mass of living serpents, and his tail is a long, hissing snake. He was a living amalgamation of primal fears, a ferocious predator, venomous reptiles, and the crushing darkness of the underworld. His duty, assigned by the god Hades, was absolute and terrifyingly simple. He was to allow any and all souls to enter the underworld, but under no circumstances was he ever to allow one to leave. He was the ultimate prison warden, and the prison was death itself. It is said he would be friendly and welcoming to new spirits as they entered, but if any soul dared to turn back towards the light, his demeanor would instantly shift to one of savage, unimaginable fury, and all three heads would tear the escapee to shreds. Cerberus represents the sheer, inescapable finality of death. He is the ultimate barrier that can never be passed from the other side. Only two heroes are famous for having bested him. Orpheus, the master musician, used the sorrowful beauty of his lyre to lull the great beast to sleep. More famously, Heracles, as his 12th and final labor, was tasked with the impossible, to capture Cerberus and bring him to the surface world. Without using weapons, Heracles wrestled the monstrous hound into submission, a feat that solidified his legendary status. Even then, Cerberus was eventually returned to his post, a guardian so vital to the cosmic order that he could not be permanently removed. For his iconic nightmare fuel appearance, his horrifying lineage, and his absolute, unyielding role as the eternal jailer of the dead, Cerberus is, without a doubt, the most feared underworld guardian in all of mythology.